All right, this is the absent version of the balloon stoichiometry lab. This is a really important lab that will be included in our exam, so don't want anyone to miss it. Checking my supplies list, make sure you're using the absent version of this lab report. The procedure and amounts are different from the in-class lab. So I've got my 2 molarity acetic acid solution, a funnel for loading the balloons, sodium bicarbonate, a 25 milliliter graduated cylinder, a couple of balloons, a scooper, a weighing dish because we don't ever put anything directly on our scales, and I've got a universal indicator so that I get a little help visualizing this chemical reaction happening. My Erlenmeyer flasks are already labeled, and I'm going to add 20 milliliters of my 2 molarity acetic acid. I'm going to start by pouring this, and then when I get close, I'm going to use the dropper to make sure I get right on that 20 mark. So, and I'm looking for the bottom of the bubble, which we call the meniscus, to be sitting right on top of that 20 line. There we are. So I don't know if this will work for a close-up, but you can see I'm right between 19 and 20, and the bottom of that bubble-shaped curve that water makes is on the 20 line, and I'm going to add that to each of my flasks. All right, and then do that one more time. So I can start by pouring. Acetic acid, by the way, is the same chemical that is in vinegar. This is a little bit more concentrated than what you buy at the grocery store, but still a pretty safe reactant. All the same, I have my safety glasses on. All right, and then I'm gonna just dropper that right to the 20 line. Let's see if that shows up, not sure. Right. All right, little tap because, you know, sometimes like all of this sticks in there. That's a good source of error to discuss for later, not a mistake, just a thing that happens when we do this lab. And then I'm going to put some of my universal indicator in here, and I don't know if you can see, but in the bottle it's like a really dark green color, but when we add it to acetic acid it turns a nice red color, and that red color is going to be what tells us that there's acetic acid around. So we can literally watch the acetic acid get used up by watching that red color change. I don't know if it'll disappear or maybe change into something else, but we'll find out. All right, and then we're gonna weigh out our sodium bicarbonate, and I have 2 different balloons. I'm gonna make sure I always am using a weigh boat, not putting anything directly on the scale, and I'm gonna tare the scale. I don't want to include the mass of the weigh boat. All right, and my first balloon is gonna have 1 gram. Oh, I went way over. So actually I'm gonna do balloon 2 first. So this is gonna be 5 grams for balloon 2. And I wanna get really close to exactly 5. But this is another source of error. Are you gonna be able to get perfectly exactly 5? Unlikely, even me with my Mad Lab skills. Oh, so close. All right, I got 4.94. Oh, I'm gonna try to get right on that 5.0. Tiny little bit. All right, 4.99. I'm gonna go with that. We're gonna call that 5. It's definitely within 2 sig figs of 5. All right, so, and I'm gonna load this into my balloon. This is balloon 2. Let's see. Oh, I can't read my own writing. Okay, here's balloon 2. So just gonna put this in with a funnel. It's the easiest way to get this in the balloon. Little source of error, maybe some powder sticks on there, not sure. All right, I'm just gonna like pound this in there. Come on. There we go. All right, I got balloon number 2 is loaded, and then actually this one is labeled number 1, so I'm gonna make sure I use this one. Nope. All right, and then this is gonna have just 1 gram, right? And we've already done our pre-lab calculations, so we have a pretty good idea Ooh, 1.06. 1.00, oh my gosh, perfect. 1.00 on my scale. And then I'm gonna load this into my balloon. All right, and so I should have a good idea about which is gonna be my limiting reactant. The acetic acid, I'm making sure I match my balloons to my little flasks. All right, then I wanna attach my balloons. All right, but I don't wanna let these mix. So I'm not gonna let the solid mix with the liquid just yet. What I wanna do, I'm gonna tear this again and make sure I'm starting at 0. I want to weigh these before we do the reaction. All right, I want to know the weight of all of this stuff before we do the reaction. And then after we do the reaction, we'll let the carbon dioxide go, and then we can do a little subtraction to get the mass of the carbon dioxide. It's really hard to weigh gases, you know, so the easiest thing to do is to let them go away and do a little subtraction to figure out the mass of that gas. All right, so this flask plus the balloon, everything, solid, acetic acid, everything, 63.38 grams. All right, and flask number 2 with the balloon, with everything, this is before the reaction, 66.52 grams. All right, then I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna check my instructions because we always read the instructions very carefully. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and mix these. So I'm gonna let my bicarbonate drop on in there. All right, you can see it fizzing. Oh, there we go. And the balloon is filling up pretty fast. Maybe I didn't need to stir it. It's okay though, because we should have conservation of mass happening here. So it doesn't matter if things move around the system. The system is sealed, so it should be pretty good. All right, I'm just holding this because I'm worried that the balloon's gonna launch. All right, and then I'm gonna do my other one as well. Ooh, that one has definitely taken off here. I'm just holding on to them so that I'm slightly nervous it's gonna pop. All right, and remember, if you did your pre-lab, you know already that this gas that is forming is carbon dioxide, which is the same gas that you breathe out, that you exhale, so also really safe. There's other versions of this lab where we can produce other kinds of gases, but carbon dioxide is like in fire extinguishers, and like I said, you breathe it out, so super, super safe. All right, this one, still fizzing though, right? That could be a good observation that we could note, that we got some fizzing happening. This one also fizzing, a lot of fizzing, right? And I'm starting to notice some color changes here, right? Do you see a little bit of color change? We gotta wait till this reaction is complete. And I'm gonna know the reaction is complete when I stop seeing evidence of a chemical change. And for this reaction, the biggest evidence of chemical change is the fizzing. So when the fizzing stops, I'm gonna feel pretty confident that the reaction is complete. All right, and I'm looking at this reaction and it stopped fizzing. It's still red, right? So that means there's still some acetic acid in there. Hopefully that helps you with some post-lab questions here. The red is still there, and I don't see any leftover solid, like the sodium bicarbonate is all gone. It looks like it probably got all used up. All right, let's check out this one though. So I see quite a difference in the color. That red has really disappeared. There's not really any red left. Let's move some of these out of the way. It's turned really, really pale. Reaction is actually still happening. I think there's still some solid in there. Give it a good shake. Yeah, so it looks like, and then I can see there's quite a bit of solid left over on the bottom. All right, and just to kind of prove to myself that we've got conservation of mass going on, I'm gonna weigh flask number 2 here with the balloon all inflated. And it's 65.46 grams. So the mass hasn't really changed, right? That's kind of within the error of the balance. And maybe, you know, a little air leaking here and there. I'm trying to hold on to it. All right, but do you see the difference in the color changes and the leftover solid on the bottom of flask number 2? All right, now what I wanna do is I wanna know how much this carbon dioxide gas in here weighs. So I'm gonna let the gas escape, and then I'm gonna weigh everything all together, but without the gas. All right, so goodbye carbon dioxide. And then I'm gonna weigh it with the balloon though. I wanna include everything except the carbon dioxide, right? Okay, so this is flask number 1, and everything except the carbon dioxide is 62.90 grams. All right, and this reaction, I feel like I need to wait just like a few more seconds. It is not fizzing very much, but there is a little bit of fizzing happening, and I really want the reaction to be complete. But I can see that the red color is completely gone, replaced with a yellow color, and still a lot of solid. I'm not sure how well that will show up on this video, but a lot of solid left on the bottom. So leftover solid, you know which reactant was the solid. And I'm gonna go ahead and let this carbon dioxide go. Hopefully this isn't too dramatic. Not a big fan of balloons here. There we go. All right, so goodbye carbon dioxide. I got a little bit of liquid dripping here, so that's like a source of error, right? I lost some mass that maybe isn't carbon dioxide because some liquid got in here and it dripped when I took the balloon off. So that might account for, you know, if I don't quite have, actually this would mean that I'm gonna think the carbon dioxide weighed a lot more than it did, because some of the missing mass isn't carbon dioxide, it's this liquid. So I might get like too high of a percent yield actually. All right, I might discuss that in my sources of error later, so I can account for that later. All right, so everything but not the carbon dioxide is 64.63 grams. All right, and hopefully you have taken note of your qualitative data, color changes, bubbling, evidence of chemical change, all of that. And that's it. That's all you need to do this lab. Good job.